Life, with all its turbulence and unpredictability, can often feel like a storm. The winds of others' opinions, the waves of uncontrollable events, and the lightning of personal doubts threaten to capsize our sense of self. But what if the key to serenity and strength lies not in fighting the storm, but in mastering the ship? The ancient Stoics believed that true mastery begins within. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is an invitation to embark on a transformative journey, not to control the storm, but to master yourself. 1. Embrace yourself, the art of self-reflection. The foundation of self-mastery is self-reflection. Without understanding who we are and what we value, we risk being adrift, swayed by the tides of external influences. Marcus Aurelius urged, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look." Reflection is not a mere glance at our actions, but a deep dive into our motives, fears, and aspirations. It is through this deliberate process that we uncover our true selves and chart a course toward a life of purpose. Self-reflection begins with asking meaningful questions. Who am I at my core? What principles guide my decisions? Am I living in alignment with my values? For example, imagine a professional who feels unfulfilled despite achieving career success. Through introspection, they realize that their discontent stems from pursuing societal expectations rather than their own aspirations. This revelation inspires them to pivot toward a career that aligns with their passion for teaching, bringing newfound joy and purpose to their life. Practical tools such as journaling can deepen the practice of self-reflection. Each evening, take a few minutes to write about your day. What decisions did you make? Were they guided by fear, impulse, or virtue? A business owner, for instance, might reflect on how they handled a conflict with an employee. Did they act with fairness and patience, or let frustration dictate their response? By reviewing such moments, they can identify areas for growth and commit to better actions in the future. Self-reflection is not just about identifying flaws. It's also about celebrating strengths. Marcus Aurelius encouraged acknowledging the virtues we possess and nurturing them. Imagine an athlete preparing for a competition. By reflecting on their discipline, perseverance, and progress, they build confidence and focus. This positive reinforcement fuels their drive to continue improving while remaining humble about areas needing development. Another vital aspect of self-reflection is recognizing the influence of external factors. Epictetus reminded us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Consider someone facing repeated criticism from a colleague. Instead of internalizing the negativity, they reflect on whether the feedback holds any truth or is simply a projection of the critic's issues. This discernment protects their self-esteem and helps them respond constructively. A powerful example of self-reflection can be found in the life of Nelson Mandela. During his 27 years in prison, Mandela used solitude as an opportunity to reflect deeply on his values, purpose, and vision for South Africa. This introspection not only fortified his resolve, but also transformed him into a symbol of reconciliation and strength. Mandela's story illustrates how self-reflection can turn adversity into an opportunity for profound growth. Incorporating self-reflection into daily life requires commitment. Begin your mornings by setting intentions. How will you embody your values today? In the evening, evaluate your actions with honesty and compassion. Did you remain patient during challenges? Did you act with integrity? Such practices cultivate a cycle of growth, ensuring that each day contributes to becoming the person you aspire to be. Finally, self-reflection allows us to define success on our terms. Instead of chasing external validation, we measure progress by how closely we align with our principles. For instance, a teacher might prioritize nurturing students' curiosity over achieving high test scores, finding fulfillment in the impact they make on young minds. Self-reflection is the compass that guides us through life's uncertainties. By looking inward with honesty, courage, and consistency, we discover our strengths, acknowledge our flaws, and align our actions with our values. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Through self-reflection, we take the first step toward mastering ourselves and leading a life of virtue and purpose. 2. Cultivate inner calm, the power of awareness. In a world filled with distractions and noise, cultivating inner calm is a radical act of self-mastery. Awareness, the ability to observe our thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment, is the cornerstone of this calm. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Awareness enables us to respond to life with clarity and intention rather than impulsive reactivity. One way to cultivate awareness is through mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment. Imagine a parent spending time with their child after a long workday. Instead of letting their mind wander to unfinished tasks or tomorrow's meetings, they choose to be fully engaged in the present, listening, playing, and connecting. This mindful presence not only deepens their bond, but also fosters a sense of calm and fulfillment. A practical exercise to build mindfulness is the practice of anchoring. Choose a simple daily activity, such as drinking tea, brushing your teeth, or walking, and focus entirely on the sensations and movements involved. Notice the warmth of the cup, the texture of the bristles, or the rhythm of your steps. Whenever your mind drifts, gently bring your focus back. This exercise trains your brain to remain grounded and attentive, even in the midst of distractions. Another aspect of cultivating awareness is recognizing and reframing our automatic thoughts. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." For instance, consider someone stuck in traffic. Their automatic reaction might be frustration or anger at the delay. However, by observing their thoughts, they can choose to reframe the situation. This is an opportunity to listen to my favorite podcast or practice patience. Such shifts in perspective not only reduce stress, but also reinforce our ability to stay composed. Emotional awareness is equally vital. It involves identifying and understanding our feelings without being controlled by them. Imagine a manager facing criticism from their team. Instead of reacting defensively, they take a moment to acknowledge their initial feelings of embarrassment or frustration. This pause allows them to respond constructively, seeking solutions rather than escalating conflict. Emotional awareness transforms challenges into opportunities for growth and strengthens relationships. Meditation is a powerful tool for developing awareness. A simple meditation practice involves sitting quietly for 5 to 10 minutes and focusing on your breath. When your mind wanders, as it inevitably will, gently bring your focus back to your breath. This practice not only enhances concentration, but also cultivates a sense of inner peace that extends beyond the meditation session.
Consider the story of a surgeon who uses mindfulness techniques to maintain composure in high-stakes situations. By staying present and focusing on the task at hand, they avoid being overwhelmed by the pressure of the moment. Their awareness allows them to perform with precision and confidence, even under intense stress. This example illustrates how awareness can be a superpower in both professional and personal life. Awareness also helps us navigate the complexities of modern life. Social media, for example, can be a source of comparison and distraction. By practicing digital mindfulness, setting intentional boundaries around screen time, and engaging purposefully with content, we regain control over our attention and reduce feelings of inadequacy. For example, someone might limit their social media use to 30 minutes a day and focus on following accounts that inspire growth and positivity. This deliberate approach fosters a healthier relationship with technology and enhances overall well-being. Finally, cultivating inner calm through awareness is not about suppressing emotions or avoiding challenges. It's about learning to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions, than your own soul." By developing this inner sanctuary, we carry a sense of calm with us, no matter what external chaos surrounds us. Inner calm is a skill that grows with practice. Through mindfulness, emotional awareness, and intentional living, we can create a life of clarity and resilience. By choosing to cultivate awareness, we empower ourselves to face life's uncertainties with courage and tranquility, becoming the steady anchor in a sea of change.
3. Build resilience, turning obstacles into opportunities. Resilience is the Stoic's armor, forged in the fires of adversity. Life's challenges, rather than being stumbling blocks, are opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This principle teaches us to embrace hardship, not as a punishment, but as a teacher. To build resilience, we must first change how we perceive obstacles. Imagine a young professional denied a promotion they worked hard for. While the initial reaction might be disappointment or frustration, a Stoic approach reframes the experience. What can I learn from this? How can this setback make me better? By viewing the situation as an opportunity to grow their skills or seek new paths, they transform failure into a stepping stone. A practical way to develop resilience is through the exercise of premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils. This involves envisioning potential difficulties before they arise. For example, before an important meeting, visualize scenarios where things might go wrong. A tough question, technical glitches, or an unsupportive colleague. By mentally preparing for these outcomes, you reduce their emotional impact and approach the situation with calm readiness. Another cornerstone of resilience is adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and rigid expectations often lead to unnecessary suffering. Seneca advised, "A wise man is unshaken by any force. He yields to circumstances as an oak bends in the wind." Consider an entrepreneur whose business faces unexpected challenges, such as supply chain disruptions. Instead of clinging to an outdated plan, they pivot their strategy, finding innovative solutions to keep their vision alive. This flexibility not only preserves their business, but strengthens their capacity to handle future obstacles. Community and support also play vital roles in fostering resilience. Epictetus encouraged us to surround ourselves with those who uplift and challenge us. A student struggling with a demanding course might join a study group where shared knowledge and encouragement make the workload more manageable. By leaning on others, they build strength not only for themselves, but for the entire group. Mindfulness and reflection are equally essential. After facing a challenge, take time to reflect. What did I handle well? What could I improve? Consider an athlete recovering from an injury. Instead of lamenting their misfortune, they reflect on their recovery process, setting realistic goals for rehabilitation and celebrating small milestones. This deliberate reflection helps them remain focused and optimistic. Historical examples offer powerful lessons in resilience. Admiral James Stockdale, held captive during the Vietnam War, credited his survival to Stoic principles. He accepted his harsh reality without despair, focusing instead on what he could control: his mindset and conduct. His resilience became a beacon of hope for his fellow prisoners, illustrating how inner strength can thrive even in the darkest circumstances. Building resilience also requires gratitude. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." By practicing gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. A parent balancing work and family might feel overwhelmed by their responsibilities. However, reflecting on the joy their children bring and the support of their partner transforms their perspective, reminding them of the richness in their life. Lastly, resilience is cultivated through action. It's not enough to think about overcoming challenges. We must take steps toward them. Marcus Aurelius urged, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." For instance, someone afraid of public speaking might start by addressing small groups, gradually building confidence and skill. Each small step reinforces their resilience and prepares them for larger challenges. Resilience is not innate. It is a practice, a muscle we strengthen with each trial we face. By reframing obstacles, adapting to change, seeking support, and taking deliberate action, we transform hardships into opportunities. The Stoic path teaches us that resilience is not about avoiding difficulty, but about thriving because of it. Each challenge we overcome becomes a testament to our inner strength, reminding us that the greatest power lies within. 4. Master your desires. The path to freedom. Desires, when unchecked, can tether us to a cycle of endless craving and dissatisfaction. The Stoics believed that true freedom lies in mastering these desires rather than being mastered by them. Seneca wisely observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." To walk the path to freedom is to distinguish between what is essential and what is superfluous, choosing simplicity and self-control over indulgence. Consider the example of someone caught in the endless pursuit of material possessions. They buy the latest gadgets, designer clothes, and luxury cars, only to find themselves feeling emptier than before. Contrast this with someone who lives minimally, cherishing meaningful relationships, personal growth, and the beauty of everyday moments. The latter person experiences contentment because their happiness is not dependent on external acquisitions, but on inner fulfillment. A practical way to master desires is by practicing temperance. Temperance involves moderation, not depriving oneself of pleasure, but enjoying it in balance. Imagine an individual who loves desserts, but decides to savor them only on special occasions, rather than daily. This act of moderation enhances their appreciation for the treat and strengthens their self-discipline. By controlling desires, they gain a sense of mastery over themselves. Another Stoic exercise is negative visualization, or imagining life without the things we take for granted. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you do not have, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." For example, a person frustrated by their aging car might visualize life without transportation altogether. This exercise shifts their perspective, transforming frustration into gratitude for what they already have. Fears or aversions are another side of the same coin as desires. The Stoics taught that we must confront and manage our fears to live freely. Epictetus stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters." Consider someone terrified of failure. This fear might prevent them from pursuing their dreams or taking risks. By gradually exposing themselves to situations where failure is possible, such as presenting an idea at work or trying a new skill, they build the courage to face their fears and reduce their power. A compelling modern example of mastering desires and aversions can be seen in financial independence. Someone who consistently saves, invests, and avoids frivolous spending gains the freedom to make choices unburdened by debt or financial anxiety. They might choose a meaningful but lower-paying job because they've built the financial stability to prioritize values over income. This control over desires leads to a life of greater autonomy and peace. Gratitude is a powerful tool for mastering desires. By focusing on what we already have, we reduce the pull of wanting more. Start each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for: a supportive friend, good health, or even the simple pleasure of a sunny morning. This practice not only fosters contentment, but also reorients your mind toward abundance rather than lack. In mastering desires, it's essential to remember that the goal is not perfection, but progress. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and reverent life. If you can manage this, that's all even the gods can ask of you." Focus on small, consistent actions. If your desire is to reduce screen time, start with an achievable limit, such as no devices during meals. Over time, these incremental changes build into lasting habits of self-control. Mastery over desires is not about asceticism or denying all pleasure, but about regaining control over your mind and choices. By practicing temperance, gratitude, and mindfulness, we break free from the chains of constant craving. In doing so, we discover a profound sense of freedom and fulfillment, living not as captives to our impulses, but as architects of our destiny. This is the Stoic path to true liberation. 5th, courage to face challenges. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. The Stoics believed that life's challenges are essential for growth, pushing us to develop strength and resilience. As Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." True courage lies in confronting adversity with determination, using each trial as an opportunity to become stronger. One way to cultivate courage is by reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. Imagine a young professional facing the daunting task of delivering a presentation to senior executives. Instead of succumbing to fear, they view the situation as a chance to refine their public speaking skills and showcase their expertise. Even if the presentation isn't perfect, the experience equips them with valuable lessons for future endeavors. A practical exercise to build courage is to confront small fears regularly. This approach, often referred to as exposure therapy, involves gradually increasing your comfort zone. For example, someone who fears public speaking might start by sharing their thoughts in a small meeting before progressing to larger audiences. Each step reinforces their confidence, proving to themselves that they can handle discomfort and uncertainty. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of focusing on what is within our control. Epictetus taught, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." By concentrating on our actions and mindset rather than external outcomes, we reduce anxiety and build courage. Consider an athlete preparing for a competition. They cannot control the weather or the performance of their opponents, but they can control their training, effort, and attitude. This focus on controllables empowers them to face the event with confidence. Another key aspect of Stoic courage is accepting failure as a natural part of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. This mindset encourages us to take risks, knowing that even setbacks contribute to our growth. For instance, an entrepreneur who launches a new business understands that failure is possible, but chooses to proceed because of the potential for innovation and personal development. History offers countless examples of courage in action. One such story is that of Malala Yousafzai, who continued to advocate for girls' education despite threats and an attack on her life. Her resilience and bravery inspire millions, illustrating the Stoic principle that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act for a greater purpose. Courage also means standing by your principles, even in the face of opposition. Imagine a scientist whose research contradicts popular opinion. They may face criticism or ridicule, but by adhering to their commitment to truth and integrity, they demonstrate moral courage. This strength of character not only upholds their values, but also sets an example for others. Gratitude and courage are interconnected. When we appreciate what we have and recognize our capabilities, we build the foundation for bravery. Start each day by reflecting on your strengths and past successes. This practice reinforces your belief in your ability to face new challenges, no matter how intimidating they seem. The Stoics also encouraged visualizing worst-case scenarios to reduce fear. By contemplating potential difficulties and imagining how we would respond, we prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally. For example, a student nervous about an exam might visualize failing, but then identify actionable steps, such as seeking extra help or improving study habits, to prevent that outcome. This process not only reduces anxiety, but also fosters resilience. Courage is not a one-time act, but a habit built through consistent practice. By embracing challenges, focusing on what we can control, and remaining steadfast in our values, we cultivate the strength to navigate life's uncertainties. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. With courage as our compass, we discover that every obstacle is an invitation to grow and thrive. 6. Becoming stronger. Strength, in the Stoic sense, is not about physical might, but about the fortitude to face life's challenges with wisdom and resilience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." True strength is cultivated by embracing hardship as a necessary part of growth and by consistently choosing to act in alignment with our values. One way to develop strength is by reframing adversity as a teacher. Imagine someone who loses their job unexpectedly. While the initial shock may feel overwhelming, they can use this challenge to reassess their career goals, learn new skills, and explore opportunities they may not have considered before. Over time, this setback transforms into a turning point, fostering personal growth and resilience. Another practical approach to becoming stronger is practicing self-discipline. Seneca observed, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Self-discipline involves taking small, consistent steps toward improvement. Consider an athlete training for a marathon. They wake up early, endure long runs, and push through fatigue. Each act of discipline builds their physical and mental strength, preparing them not only for the race, but also for other challenges in life. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of controlling our responses to external events. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." For example, a student who receives a poor grade on an exam can either dwell on disappointment or use the experience to identify areas for improvement and study more effectively for the next test. By focusing on their response rather than the event itself, they build resilience and a proactive mindset. Voluntary discomfort is another tool the Stoics recommended for cultivating strength. Seneca suggested, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Modern applications might include fasting, reducing reliance on technology, or spending time outdoors without comforts. These practices help us develop resilience by reminding us that we can endure more than we often believe. Strength also grows through reflection. Marcus Aurelius regularly reviewed his actions, asking himself whether he had acted with integrity and wisdom. For instance, a leader might reflect on how they handled a conflict at work. Did they listen actively and make a fair decision? By analyzing their actions, they can identify areas for growth and reinforce their commitment to virtuous behavior. Consider historical examples of individuals who exemplify Stoic strength. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, endured unimaginable suffering in concentration camps. Despite his circumstances, he found strength by focusing on his purpose and maintaining hope. Frankl's story demonstrates that inner strength is not dependent on external conditions, but on how we choose to respond to them. Community and support also play a role in building strength. Epictetus encouraged surrounding ourselves with people who inspire and uplift us. Imagine someone recovering from a personal loss who joins a support group. By sharing their experiences and learning from others, they gain both emotional strength and practical strategies for coping with adversity. Finally, celebrate your progress. Acknowledge the small victories that contribute to your growth. For example, someone overcoming a fear of water might celebrate each step, from wading into shallow pools to swimming confidently in deeper waters. These milestones reinforce their belief in their ability to overcome challenges and build unshakable inner strength. Strength is not a destination but a journey, a continuous process of choosing courage, discipline, and wisdom in the face of life's challenges. By reframing adversity, practicing self-discipline, and reflecting on our actions, we become stronger with each step. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In embracing this philosophy, we discover that true strength lies within us, waiting to be realized. 7. Practicing daily gratitude. Gratitude is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and a gateway to tranquility. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, fostering contentment and resilience. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have." By practicing gratitude daily, we create a mindset of abundance, even in the face of adversity. One way to incorporate gratitude into your life is by beginning and ending each day with reflection. In the morning, take a moment to consider what you are looking forward to or appreciate about the day ahead. At night, reflect on what went well, no matter how small. For instance, a professional overwhelmed by deadlines might express gratitude for a colleague's support or for having the skills to tackle their challenges. These reflections, though simple, foster a sense of balance and optimism. Gratitude also helps us reframe difficult situations. Imagine someone who loses a job they love. While the initial reaction might be despair, gratitude can help them focus on the positive, the experiences they gained, the skills they developed, and the opportunity to explore new paths. This shift in perspective transforms the loss into a foundation for future growth. Journaling is another powerful tool for cultivating gratitude. Each day, write down 3 things you are thankful for. They can be as simple as enjoying a delicious meal, a kind word from a friend, or the warmth of sunlight. By making this practice a habit, you train your mind to recognize and appreciate the good in your life, even during challenging times. Gratitude also extends to our relationships. Epictetus advised, "He who is not grateful for what he has will not be grateful for what he will receive." Expressing appreciation to those around us strengthens bonds and fosters mutual respect. For example, taking the time to thank a mentor for their guidance or acknowledging a friend's support in a difficult moment not only deepens those connections, but also reinforces a culture of kindness and reciprocity. Incorporating gratitude into daily life requires intentionality, especially in the face of modern distractions. Social media, for example, can lead us to compare ourselves to others and feel inadequate. By practicing digital mindfulness, limiting screen time, and focusing on content that uplifts rather than diminishes us, we can redirect our energy toward gratitude for what truly matters. A young adult comparing their career progress to peers on social media might instead reflect on their unique journey and the steps they have taken to grow. Gratitude is particularly powerful during adversity. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." When faced with hardship, gratitude allows us to see the silver lining. For instance, someone recovering from an illness might appreciate the strength of their body as it heals and the support of loved ones. This perspective not only eases suffering, but also reinforces hope and determination. The practice of gratitude also enhances self-awareness and humility. By acknowledging the sources of our blessings, we recognize that we are not self-sufficient. Acknowledging the contributions of others, be it a teacher's lessons, a friend's encouragement, or a stranger's kindness, deepens our appreciation for the interconnectedness of life. Finally, gratitude is a skill that grows with practice. Start small and build consistency. Set a reminder to pause and reflect on what you are thankful for during the day. Over time, this practice rewires your perspective, making gratitude an automatic response rather than an effort. By practicing daily gratitude, we anchor ourselves in the present and cultivate resilience, humility, and joy. As the Stoics teach us, the key to a fulfilling life lies not in the relentless pursuit of more, but in appreciating the richness of what we already have. Seneca's words ring true. Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. With gratitude, every moment becomes a treasure. 8. Prioritizing virtue and values. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies the unwavering commitment to virtue and values. The Stoics believed that living a good life meant aligning our actions with principles such as courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. Marcus Aurelius declared, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This pursuit of virtue provides a compass, guiding us through life's complexities and helping us prioritize what truly matters. Virtue is the highest good in Stoic philosophy, standing above wealth, status, or pleasure. Unlike external achievements, which are often beyond our control, our character and choices remain firmly within our grasp. Imagine a business leader facing a dilemma. Should they prioritize profit at the expense of fairness to their employees? By adhering to justice and integrity, they may forego short-term gains, but they strengthen their moral character and build trust that endures. To prioritize virtue, we must first identify our core values. Ask yourself, What principles guide my decisions? What kind of person do I aspire to be? For instance, someone who values compassion might reflect on whether their daily actions, from conversations with colleagues to interactions with strangers, reflect kindness and empathy. By aligning actions with values, we create a consistent and fulfilling life. Practical exercises can help us cultivate virtue. One effective method is the daily practice of setting intentions. Each morning, choose a specific virtue to focus on, such as patience or honesty. Throughout the day, observe how this intention shapes your actions. For example, a parent striving to embody patience might pause before reacting to their child's misbehavior, choosing understanding over anger. This practice reinforces the habit of living virtuously, one moment at a time. Reflection is another powerful tool. At the end of the day, review your actions and evaluate whether they align with your values. Marcus Aurelius often used this practice to assess his conduct as an emperor. Consider a teacher who reflects on how they handled a difficult student. Did they demonstrate fairness and compassion? If not, how can they improve tomorrow? This self-assessment nurtures growth and strengthens commitment to virtuous living. Living by virtue also requires resisting societal pressures. In a world that often celebrates material success, staying true to our principles can be challenging. Imagine an artist who feels pressured to create commercially successful work at the expense of their authentic vision. By prioritizing artistic integrity, they may face financial challenges but find deeper fulfillment in their creations. The Stoics remind us that virtue is its own reward. Historical examples offer inspiration for prioritizing virtue. Socrates, a philosopher who valued truth above all, chose to accept his unjust death sentence rather than compromise his principles. His unwavering commitment to virtue continues to inspire generations, demonstrating the enduring power of living a life guided by values. Gratitude also plays a role in prioritizing virtue. By appreciating the opportunities to act with integrity and courage, we strengthen our resolve to do so. For example, someone who values generosity might reflect on how their acts of giving, whether donating to a cause or helping a neighbor, bring meaning to their life. Gratitude for these opportunities reinforces their commitment to live virtuously. Lastly, it is essential to remember that virtue is a journey, not a destination. As Seneca wrote, "We are always in the process of becoming, and life is one long training session." Perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Each small choice to act with integrity, courage, or kindness contributes to our growth. Prioritizing virtue and values transforms the way we navigate life. It shifts our focus from external validation to internal fulfillment, from fleeting pleasures to lasting meaning. By choosing to live virtuously, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of a life well lived. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." 9. Accepting the present moment. Acceptance of the present moment is one of the most profound lessons Stoicism teaches us. It is the art of embracing what is, rather than yearning for what could have been, or fearing what might be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have to assemble your life yourself, action by action, and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal as far as possible. No one can keep that from happening." By learning to accept the present, we free ourselves from regret, anxiety, and the relentless pursuit of control over the uncontrollable. One essential aspect of accepting the present moment is understanding that life unfolds as it should. The Stoics called this concept amor fati, or the love of fate. This means not only enduring what happens, but embracing it as necessary and even good. For example, imagine an athlete who has trained tirelessly for a competition, but suffers an injury days before the event. Instead of succumbing to despair, they accept their circumstances and focus on rehabilitation. This mindset allows them to channel their energy into recovery rather than dwelling on their misfortune. To practice acceptance, start by observing your thoughts. Epictetus advised, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When faced with an unexpected challenge, pause and reflect. Are you resisting reality, or are you adapting to it? Consider someone who misses a crucial job interview due to a transportation delay. They can either stew in frustration or accept the situation, using the time to prepare for future opportunities. By choosing the latter, they maintain composure and create room for growth. Mindfulness is a practical tool for cultivating present moment awareness. Through mindfulness, we learn to observe our surroundings and experiences without judgment. A simple exercise is to spend 5 minutes focusing on your breath, noticing the sensations of inhaling and exhaling. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breath. This practice trains your mind to stay rooted in the present, reducing the tendency to ruminate on the past or worry about the future. Another approach is to find joy in small, everyday moments. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." Imagine someone enjoying a walk through a park. Instead of rushing to their destination, they take time to notice the rustling leaves, the chirping birds, and the warmth of the sun. By immersing themselves in these simple pleasures, they cultivate a sense of peace and gratitude. Accepting the present moment also involves letting go of the need for control. The Stoics recognized that much of life is beyond our influence. The actions of others, the outcomes of events, even the weather. Instead of fighting these realities, they focused on what they could control: their thoughts, actions, and attitudes. For instance, a parent cannot control their child's choices, but they can guide them with love, patience, and wisdom. This shift in focus fosters serenity and reduces unnecessary stress. A powerful example of embracing the present can be seen in the life of Nelson Mandela. During his 27 years of imprisonment, he accepted his circumstances and used his time to educate himself and reflect on his values. Instead of harboring resentment, he focused on the future he wanted to create. His ability to accept and act within his reality not only preserved his dignity, but also inspired millions. Acceptance does not mean passivity or resignation. It is an active engagement with life as it is, coupled with the wisdom to respond constructively. When a storm disrupts your plans, acceptance allows you to seek shelter and appreciate the rain rather than cursing the weather. This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Finally, remember that accepting the present moment is a practice. There will be times when you resist, falter, or struggle to let go. In these moments, return to the teachings of the Stoics. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy, said Epictetus. By embracing this principle, you align yourself with the flow of life and discover the tranquility that comes with acceptance. Accepting the present moment is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It teaches us to find peace in what is, to focus on what we can control, and to live fully in the here and now. Through this practice, we not only liberate ourselves from unnecessary suffering, but also open our hearts to the beauty and possibility of each moment. 10th, controlling desires and aversions. Mastering desires and aversions is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. essential for achieving true freedom and inner peace. The Stoics believed that unchecked desires enslave us, while unchecked aversions make us fearful and anxious. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You see how few things you have to do to live a satisfying and reverent life. If you can manage this, that's all even the gods can ask of you." By learning to control these impulses, we reclaim our autonomy and cultivate a life of virtue. Desires, when left unchecked, often lead to dissatisfaction. Consider someone who constantly chases material possessions. They acquire the latest gadgets or luxury items, but remain perpetually unfulfilled, as their happiness depends on external acquisitions. Contrast this with someone who practices temperance, finding joy in simplicity and meaningful experiences. For example, a person who spends a quiet evening reading with their loved ones feels a deeper sense of contentment than someone consumed by the pursuit of the next big purchase. One way to control desires is to practice gratitude. Seneca advised, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By regularly reflecting on what we already have, we shift our focus from lack to abundance. A simple gratitude practice involves listing 3 things you appreciate each day, such as good health, supportive relationships, or the beauty of nature. This exercise trains the mind to recognize sufficiency, reducing the pull of endless cravings. Aversions, on the other hand, are fears or dislikes that hold us back from engaging with life fully. Epictetus taught, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." Understanding this distinction helps us let go of irrational fears. For instance, someone who fears rejection may avoid expressing their true feelings or pursuing opportunities. By confronting this aversion and accepting that rejection is beyond their control, they free themselves to act authentically and courageously. The Stoics also encouraged practicing voluntary discomfort to build resilience. Seneca recommended periodically exposing ourselves to mild hardships, such as fasting or spending a day without luxuries. Imagine a person who chooses to walk to work instead of driving on occasion. They not only save money and appreciate the convenience of their car, but also develop mental toughness and adaptability. This practice reminds us that we can endure more than we think, reducing our fear of discomfort. Another practical approach is negative visualization, where we imagine life without the things we value. Marcus Aurelius suggested, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you do not have, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess." A parent who imagines life without their family, for instance, gains a deeper appreciation for their presence and is less likely to take them for granted. This exercise fosters gratitude and helps us focus on what truly matters. The mastery of desires and aversions also involves aligning our choices with our values. Suppose someone aspires to live a life of honesty. When tempted to lie for personal gain, they remind themselves that integrity is more important than immediate rewards. This commitment to virtue strengthens their character and reinforces their ability to resist short-term temptations. Historical examples illustrate the power of controlling desires and aversions. Take Admiral James Stockdale, who endured years as a prisoner of war by applying Stoic principles. By focusing on what he could control, his mindset and actions, he resisted despair and found strength in his values. His story is a testament to the freedom that comes from mastering our inner world. Finally, remember that controlling desires and aversions is not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them. Reflect on your motivations. Are you acting out of fear, desire, or principle? Acknowledge your impulses without judgment and choose actions that align with your higher self. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, allowing you to live with greater clarity and peace. Mastering desires and aversions liberates us from the chains of craving and fear, enabling us to lead a life of intention and fulfillment. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By focusing on what we can control and letting go of the rest, we achieve true freedom and discover the tranquility of a life well lived. Stoicism is not merely a philosophy to be studied. It is a guide for living a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. By focusing on what is within our control, mastering our desires and aversions, and aligning our actions with virtue, we unlock the potential to navigate life with wisdom and grace. Each principle of Stoicism is a tool to help us rise above external chaos and find stability within ourselves. Imagine facing life's inevitable challenges with calm and clarity, no longer bound by the opinions of others or the fear of failure. This is the promise of Stoicism, not a life free of difficulties, but one enriched by the strength to endure and grow through them. When we embrace self-reflection, cultivate awareness, and practice gratitude, we discover that the key to fulfillment lies not in the external, but in the mastery of our inner world. The Stoic path reminds us to take deliberate action each day. Start by reflecting on your values and setting small, achievable goals aligned with those principles. Pause when faced with adversity and ask yourself, what is within my control? How can I act virtuously in this moment? Over time, these practices become second nature, shaping a life of meaning and fulfillment. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Let these words inspire you to embody the Stoic ideals, to live with integrity, courage, and wisdom. By doing so, you not only transform your own life, but also set an example for others, creating a ripple effect of strength and virtue in the world. Stoicism is a lifelong journey. Embrace it and discover the profound peace that comes from mastering yourself.